Hello everyone, you are
Hi,
watching
Rinki.
ITV Gold and I'm your host Aditi Lamba. Joining us today is the business
Thanks.
head for House of Anita Dongre. We are joining today by Yash Dongre. Please welcome on the show. He's joining us from India. Yash, thank you so much for being with us here on ITV Gold. I hope you're doing well in India.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, in India, we are still in a partial lockdown. I know you guys in New York are doing a lot better, but here we're still in a partial lockdown. So we've been home now almost 5 months.
Oh wow. Well, I hope you're staying well and you keep on staying, keep on staying healthy. I'm so excited to have you on the show today because we've been wanting to talk about the fashion industry and what is going on with it, the impact of COVID-19 on it. Because, from what we have researched, the impact is quite major and is kind of transformative. So, just starting this interview with you, what kind of transformation did you have to bring to your existing programs and the functioning of the company when COVID-19 started?
So, COVID-19 is obviously been a huge event in all our lives, and the business impact has been enormous. I think it's the first time in our lifetime we've seen such an event take place, which has had such a grave impact both on your personal life and professional. In our company and in our industry, which has been one of the worst hit in this whole pandemic, for us it's all about consolidation. It's about controlling our costs and just surviving the next 6 to 12 months until we come out of this and consumption it goes back to somewhat at some normal levels to what it was pre-COVID. So I think for us it's all about consolidating cost control and focusing our entire time and energy on the online and digital space.
Yes, for sure. What is your take on the direct impact COVID-19 has had on manufacturing? India is home to the largest manufacturers, in the world, and fashion industry depends massively on it. Is it how difficult is it to produce right now in India?
It's definitely been challenging because a lot of the factories are in the metro cities, and a lot of the workers have moved back to the villages when the outbreak first hit. It was just a mentality. It was a fear mentality, and everyone wanted to go back to their hometowns, back to their villages, to be with their families. So we had a huge exodus of people leaving the cities and moving back home. And I'm sure you guys must have seen that coverage on news. How there was massive migration happening back to villages, and a lot of that workforce obviously hasn't yet returned. So factories are operating on barely 10 to 20% of their capacity. And so yes, it's definitely been challenging, but and also companies have also cut down production levels, right? So companies aren't producing anywhere close to what they were pre-COVID. So of course the demand has also decreased. At the same time, factory capacity is also severely decreased.
Yes.
So manufacturing definitely has become a challenge.
What has been your strategy, since you're the business head of the company, in tackling this economic downfall? Because you're still working, the company is still functioning, especially on the digital space. What has your experience been in tackling, this economic issue?
So, like I said, our energies have been towards pushing the online business, and we are seeing positive and optimistic results coming from there. There has been a surge in demand for online purchases. Since we are in the wedding business as well, in the bridal business, we are seeing the demand come back for bridal wear. We are seeing a lot of couples going ahead with their weddings. And of course, the scale of the weddings are reducing. People are doing a lot smaller events. In the US, especially, this whole concept of backyard weddings is on the rise, where people are doing smaller ceremonies at home with family and friends. But the demand for clothes is still there because whether you get married at home, whether you get married in a hotel, whether you get married on the beach, you still want to look your best and you want to wear that special outfit. So we are seeing a steady demand for bridal clothing, especially in the US.
Wow, that's great to hear. And yes, we have all heard about those backyard weddings, and I think that's a great way to do something. Well, we have to maintain social distancing
Yes.
and so many other rules. The House of Anita Dongre grassroots initiative employs and empowers hundreds and thousands of artisans across of India. Your company is known for exquisite artisan work and craftsmanship. what is happening with these families and these artisans, and has there been extra help and resources given to them to get through this time period?
So yes, so we were one of the first fashion companies to set up a fund back in April. It was a fund about 1.5 crore rupees, which is about, I would say, around $200,000. So we set up this fund to support our artisanal workforce and to make sure that during this incredibly tough time, if they have any medical requirements, if they have any financial requirements, we can support them using this special COVID fund that we had set up under the Anita Dongre Foundation. So this is one of the initiatives we've rolled out back in April, and we've already touched countless lives. We've been supporting a lot of our artisans across the country, whether it's in our home state of Maharashtra, whether it's in Gujarat, and of course other parts as well. Apart from that, we are trying to give as much as work as possible as well. Even though of course we have ourselves have cut down a lot of our production, but we still are producing small quantities. So we're trying to give them as much work as possible to keep them busy and to make sure that they can, earn their livelihood uninterrupted.
For sure. How has their experience been getting that help? Have you been able to, see the on-ground experience from the funding and all of the work on grassroots levels?
So I think definitely. So also the government supports rural India a lot. So there are a lot of schemes that the government has rolled out to make sure that people in rural villages are well taken care of. So whether it's providing them with food grain, whether it's providing them with subsidies, whether it's providing them with cash handouts. So I feel people in rural India are very well taken care of by the government, and of course, we as a private company are doing our bit as well. So recently, we also set up. So we run these manufacturing clusters in about 5 villages in Maharashtra, where we employ the local women. So we started producing masks over there and other PPE equipment. So this way, the women are also keeping busy, and at the same time, the PPE equipment that they're producing, we are giving back to their villages and their surroundings, for them to use and stay safe. And we're also producing PPE equipment for our own employees across the country.
Wow.
So, if we can't give them, our regular production, like our garments, we're trying to give them other ways of production for, PPE equipment, for example.
Yash, what is your take on the fashion industry right now? Especially, we were discussing this just a little bit ago, e-commerce and making everything digital and using that platform. What do you foresee happen in the next couple of months in the industry itself when you're looking at e-commerce?
So I think, again, talking from the luxury and couture point of view, I think a lot of luxury players in India, especially who haven't yet forayed into the online space, will definitely go into the online space. If they don't have their own website, they will work with, third-party partner websites. You have a ton of them now, selling couture wear online. I think a lot of designers will look at creating more affordable lines, because price is going to be very important in the coming months. We fortunately have always had a very robust ready-to-wear line under Anita Dongre, where we've had very healthy ASPs of around $200 to $250. So we have a lot of options in that sweet spot pricing. So I feel a lot of other competitors who've purely, done couture all along are maybe now going to come in and start doing more affordable lines, to sort of drive sales.
What is your particular focus with the company right now?
So our focus right now, like I said, is completely digital. We are looking to bring in a lot of automation into our e-commerce operations right now. We were still relying on a lot of manual processes. We're looking to bring in a lot of new systems, a lot of new technology, just to make sure that the customer experience is completely seamless. We are, of course, I think a lot of the physical events that we do as fashion companies are now going to reduce. So whether they are fashion shows, whether they are, big photo campaigns, store launches. I think all this is going to go online. So I think you're going to see a lot of people, launching their collections purely on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
You're going to see a lot of digital fashion shows happening. A lot of the marketing budgets that brands have are going to be diverted now to digital advertising. So
Wow.
I think for the next 1 year at least, you're going to see a lot of investment and focus on the digital space. Whether it's e-commerce or social media or online advertising.
Yes, for sure. And you also have two flagship stores in the United States. One of the only brands from India to have these flagship stores is actually in New York City. What is happening with these stores, and how are you trying to connect with the South Asian American community here?
So I'll just correct you. We have one flagship store in New York City. So we had another pop-up store back in 2017, which was just a temporary pop-up for 6 months. So we have one flagship store located on West Broadway in New York. So the store has been was closed right from the late March to June. We just opened the store a few weeks ago when the city announced their phase-wise opening for retail. Initially, we could only open for curbside delivery and pickup, but now, fortunately, they've allowed customers to walk in as well. So right now, we're focusing a lot on the bridal wear. We're looking to service our clients. We have a huge client base outside of New York, whether it's California, whether it's Texas, whether it's Florida. We have a huge client base in New Jersey. So we're looking to service all of our out-of-state clients best possible way we can. So whether it's doing video consultations with them, whether it's shipping them garments to try on, we are being as accommodative and flexible as possible with our policies. So the whole point is to service our clients, of course, within the city, within the New York state, and more importantly, our clients who are outside the state who cannot reach us at this time.
Definitely,
So a
and
lot of
it's
online consultations, a lot of styling sessions, a lot of one-on-one with our consultants in the store, trying to get all our clients the best possible service virtually.
yes, I think that's incredible. I'm loving how virtually everything is becoming.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great space for us to at least stay connected and get what we want. I'd like to take this part of the interview and actually discuss a little bit more about House of Anita Dongre and all the incredible works your company has been doing in the fashion industry. For the audience that may not be familiar with the brand itself, could you just briefly highlight what House of Anita Dongre stands for, and especially its fashion philosophy?
Sure. So, the company was founded by my mother back in the late 90s, and her whole goal has always been to create fashion that is wearable, accessible, and provides the customer great value. So whether it's from our first brand, which was A&D, and which is a Western wear everyday label that we have in India, which was actually one of the first Western wear labels, homegrown Western wear labels to come out of India back in the 90s, or whether it's our brand Global Desi, which started in the mid 2000s, which was in the early 2000s, which was a brand that offers boho chic, colorful prints, again very young, very affordable. So we as a company always build brands that have been very affordable, wearable, functional, and only recently in the past 10 years have we got into couture, and we set up our bridal label Anita Dongre. But when we set up Anita Dongre, we also, my mother's vision has always been to be different. She wanted to create beautiful wedding wear, because at that time, designer wedding wear in India was considered extremely uh, expensive, and it was almost intimidating when you had to shop for designer wear. But I feel she wanted to come in and make it a little more practical, a little more accessible, and she created this whole line of wedding wear that was again very comfortable for the consumer, very functional. We were the first brand to create pocket lehengas with pockets. And at the same time, won't burn a huge hole in your pocket. It's something that's well priced and will give you the value for money.
Definitely,
So I think our whole USP has always been quality and value for our consumer.
yes, for sure. Yash, there is such a huge emphasis that House of Anita Dongre has had on supreme craftsmanship. and really giving it back to the artisans. I wanted to know where that interest or that passion for showing craftsmanship is derived from, or where is the inspiration coming from?
So again, Anita has been very passionate about India's arts and crafts, and it's always pained her, throughout her career that these artisans are actually either not being able to earn enough money to sustain their livelihoods, and these kind of arts and crafts in India are only passed on generation to generation. It's very difficult to teach these kind of crafts. And what she began to realize is that the next generation, the children of these artisans won't taking up the same profession as their fathers and grandfathers, and mothers and grandmothers. They were actually moving to the big cities, trying to get into other fields for all the right reasons, because they wanted to create a better livelihood. So we wanted to come in and try and change the game to make them realize that, listen, you can continue this career with the same dignity and respect, and earn a livelihood which could match any other career out there. Which is why we set up the brand Grassroot a couple of years ago, where we wanted to give as much work as possible to these communities. We also, like I mentioned earlier, created centers in 5 villages where we employed women who didn't necessarily have the skills, but had the ambition and the gusto and the spirit. So we trained them in certain basic skills like stitching and embroidery. And then we actually employ them in the same centers to work for our company. And it's amazing because these women were women who have never had the opportunity to work in their lives, have never had the opportunity to earn money in their lives, and have been totally reliant on their husbands. And now for the first time in their life, they've been empowered because they are earning a substantial salary. They're able to support their children. They're able to send them to school. They're able to spend on themselves without having to lean and totally rely on their husbands. So it's a great sense of power that they feel, and we feel amazing to have been able to empower them.
Yeah, this is lots of work in women empowerment. I think that's so encouraging. But it's necessarily, it's just a revival of art. I think the company is really focused on reviving that craft, reviving what India is truly made of, what the South Asian culture is made of. Would
Definitely.
you agree with that?
Because we kept there have been European fashion houses for years who have come and worked with Indian craftsmen. Wow. So why can't we as Indian fashion companies support them and work with them? Why is the West again beating us at this? So we realized that if the design community comes together and supports these communities, it can make a huge difference. Because us alone cannot make a big difference, but if every design company in India, every brand comes together and makes it a conscious effort to make sure that they work with these beautiful crafts that the country has to offer. Not only will they be able to revive and make sure these crafts continue, they'll also be able to support these massive communities that rely solely on their profession and doing these arts and crafts. So I think it's a group effort. The whole industry has to come together, and then it can make a real difference.
Definitely.
And we're seeing that happening now.
Yes, for sure. What is the future vision for the next 5 to 10 years of the company? Because the company attracts a spectrum of communities, and as you said, it goes and it's super affordable as well. What is your future vision for the next 5 to 10 years?
So we've definitely already made our mark in India. We're very keen on taking our products to our international consumers. So we've already made a baby step with the store in New York. But I envision a couple of more stores in New York. In the US, we have a huge market, like I said, in the West Coast. We would love to have a store in the West Coast at some point. We have a huge consumer base in the UK. We have a huge consumer base in the UAE. We have consumers in Southeast Asia. We have consumers in Canada. So there's so many markets where we would like to penetrate, and either, I'm not saying specifically open a physical location, even through e-commerce. Right. So I think the next 5 years would be focusing on tapping the international market.
Oh, definitely. I think that's an incredible goal, and good luck to you for that. I'd like to quickly discuss this new collection that the brand has come out with for 2020. Could you just reflect on what is in it? I know it goes from bridal couture to menswear to a lot more. I would love for the audience to get some insights into what is happening for this season.
So the Summer of Sanctuary collection is a very easy breezy, very, very summer collection. It's got beautiful prints. It's got, lovely pastel colors. It's got very comfortable silhouettes. So we just wanted to create a very comfort line, because if you're a bride getting married in summer, especially in India, or if you're a bride doing a beach wedding, you want to look stunning at the same time. You want to be very comfortable, right? You don't want to wear something that's super heavy and that's going to bog you down. So this whole line that we created is extremely lightweight, extremely, it just really shouts summer in all aspects. And similarly, we have a ready-to-wear collection where we do some beautiful dresses, some beautiful tunics. So it's a very, very easy breezy light collection, and it's called Summer of Santorini. It's actually the campaign is also shot in Santorini,
Oh, wow.
which was one of our first international shoots that we did.
Yes. I've seen some pictures. It looks beautiful. How has the response been so far to the
Thank you.
collection?
The response has been great. Unfortunately, COVID came at just the beginning of the summer season, right?
Right.
March is when summer starts kicking off from the fashion calendar, at least. And it came at such a time when the summer season was just about to kick off, and we had to shut down. So I don't think our consumers have been able to really enjoy this collection, and it's only now that the consumers being able to buy it and access it and try it on, because March, April, May we were completely shut down.
Right.
So a lot of these styles are going to be carried forwarded to the next season. So styles that we won't able to introduce in the summer because of COVID.
Right.
Consumers will definitely be able to see it in stores in the coming months. So we're hoping
Definitely.
that it'll be a bit of a late summer, but I'm sure consumers will still have the opportunity to purchase it and enjoy the collection.
Definitely. And while I still have you on the show, Yash, what is coming up next in the next seasons? What can, the fans of House of Anita Dongre fashion can look forward to?
So I think that's a question for our design team and for Anita, because I don't look much into the creative part of the business, but I'm sure from a business side, always expect your signature, the typical signature Anita Dongre style. You'll get to see some beautiful silhouettes. You'll get to see some amazing craftsmanship from Seva, from Gujarat, from Rajasthan. You'll get to see some innovative styles. You'll get to see some beautiful ready-to-wear. You'll get to see some amazing menswear. Our menswear is being very popular these days. So you'll get to see a lot of what we've been doing in the past, and you'll get to see a lot of innovation as well. So I think that's all I can say on that aspect. And just keep an eye on our Instagram. That's where we introduce all our new collections.
Yes, definitely. Well, Yash, this was so great having you here on ITV Gold. I truly appreciate you for your time. Just one last message to our audience.
Just to let everyone know that I hope everyone is doing well, keeping safe, and stay positive during this time. I think that's the most important. If everyone stays positive and optimistic, we'll all come out of this stronger. And for those of you in the New York area, please feel free to reach out to our store. We are there for you 24/7, and we are more than happy to help you with all your bridal and occasion wear needs.
Well, thank you so much again, Yash.